What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the conversation right now. I want to go back to, and I don't really want to, but I'm going to go back to Amanda Seales because I just shared my thoughts on the things that she came out and said about not being invited to certain red carpet events and award shows and, being in black spaces and yada, 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 as well as, it's just talking about, I think today's definition of what people think an activist is definitely skewed. And I'm not saying that you cannot speak up for what's right or what you feel, is wrong that you want to speak against and be in the space of that Hollywood or Hollywood world. But unfortunately, to be like a real true activist, you're going to have to really choose, because most activists, like I said before, and it's just the truth, whether people want to admit it, agree with it or not, the real activists are not popular. Like, seriously. And Amanda Seales is definitely somebody who is vocal, for sure. But just being vocal and being on social media and not really being boots to the ground, being out there in the trenches like most activists do, and not being in the space of being invited to these different events and things like that. You have to really choose and pick a side. Do you want to be an activist or do you want to be an actress? And so she lashed out recently, and I just want to play this clip.
Okay, honestly, I've had enough. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Really? 3 pieces. 3 from 3 people I have never met in my life. From 3 publications that are supposed to be about uplifting black people, which is all I have dedicated my life to doing. Shit! What hubris do I have? You people literally cannot stand that someone has studied and is speaking on what they studied, that someone has read and is speaking on what they read. You can't stand that someone loves us so much, that their passion is so exemplary and is exuding through the phone that it touches people who literally have never felt love that much and they don't know how to process it. That's what you're feeling. I want to send all the love to everyone who has shown me love. But you people who are continuing to attempt to break me down, you will not break me. You cannot break me. I am loved. I am anointed. I am touched. I am working through the blood of our ancestors. You will not break me. And it is so sad that you are so broken that this is the effort that you would take to try and get some clout. And you know what? Let's say I did get broken. Y'all will be the first ones to be like, see, y'all be doing too much. No, big up to all my strong black women who are supporting other strong black women and every other person supporting us. We love you. The rest of y'all can suck up.
Child. Wow. I definitely felt the pain and the passion in what she was saying, but unfortunately, what she came out to speak against, it's not going to change these people's minds and opinions. And I'm not saying that she did it to change their minds, but in a way, it just kind of makes you feel like that's exactly what she was attempting to do, but it won't ever work, I feel that she is tired. I feel that this is something that, say it, but to come out on social media and put it out there like that, unfortunately, I just feel that it's not going to change the narrative that a lot of people feel about her. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything about Amanda Seales, because I actually don't. And I will admit that. I'm being beautifully honest. But to say what is wrong with them, they're sharing their opinions about her. It's opinions. people are sharing their opinions about her based on how they feel about what she is saying and what she is putting out there. And if you're going to be on these social platforms and you're going to sit and share content with people, because I would get it. Let me just finish my comment. I don't want to, divert. But if you're going to be on these social platforms and you're going to put these statements out there, you have to be prepared for the commentary and the comments and maybe possible backlash that's going to come with it. And you could either choose to just move forward and ignore it, or you can respond to it. But this just goes back to whenever there is a way to do it. And this just isn't the way, because to come out the gate to say what the F is wrong with y'all, the people who wrote whatever they wrote about her, like they said, Amanda Seales is not a victim of anything but her own hubris. That's their opinion of how she is seen by them and how they see her behaving. It's their opinion. She could have just came out and just wrote something to say, she could have referenced that article and just wrote a post to say opinions are like a-holes, everyone has them, and kept it moving if she wanted to respond to it. But to come out like this, just out the gate, I just feel that she is stoking the flames higher, like she's putting gasoline on the fire that I felt like had already died down. The people who came out to write these opinion pieces about her, they probably were just getting around to doing it. Because you know how sometimes content comes out and you just have so many other things on your list of to-dos, and then you finally get around to it, and then you have to figure out and decide, am I still going to move forward and talk about this or write about this? Or do I just say, oh, you know what, I'm just going to let that one go because so many other things have come up since that time and maybe it's not really relevant anymore. I feel that Amanda Seales' viewpoints in a number of ways are absolutely valid. I do. But I just feel that she has to figure out what she wants to do next and move forward in that, because the things that has been reported about her over the years, yes, indeed, she has spoken out a lot about different situations and scenarios that have happened. But it's something else when the people that you have been working with and supposedly were close to at the time haven't really associated themselves with you. And I'm just being honest. Like I said, I don't know her. I don't know a ton about her, and I'm not here to tear her down. I'm not. But I'm just saying that this just, if you're like me and you're just seeing the things that she has, or heard, I should say, the things that she has said, and then this opinion piece comes out and then she responds to it in this way, it's going to be like, wow. I will say, though, that I'm hopeful that she's doing what she needs to do to get herself in a good, or better, I should say, mental space. But there's some things, especially if you're going to be like her, to be in the space that she has chosen to be in, that you're going to have to not so much ignore, saying you just have to completely ignore it, but it's almost like the Lizzo stuff. You know what I mean? Where if you're going to be the way that you are, and these are your choices to do such, then you have to figure out what you have to avoid. And if it be comments, if it be articles, if it be podcasts, if it means turning off your Google alerts. So, because to me, it seems that's what's happening. They have their name in the Google alerts, so when it pops up, they go and check it out. That also is a form of not just online reputation management, but it's also a form of a little bit of ego, as well as to see what are people saying about me that's good. So whenever you get that bing, or you get that Gmail email with a Google alert that your name popped up, and then you go and read it, and then you're disappointed by what you read, you just have to get to the point where you turn some things off. There's a real activist that I want to mention that does not get a lot of recognition. She is not a celebrity. She has no desire to be. And she's not an actress. She's not trying to be in the Hollywood world. She's definitely not seeking after fame. She only is dealing with things that are affecting the African American community. And she is the definition, in my opinion, of a true activist. And she goes by the name of Michi X. She has a YouTube channel. Her YouTube channel is not monetized. She's not trying to make money off of the content that she's talking about. She has her own app, her own website, I should say. And you can check the content there for free, or you can pay and become a subscriber. But when people say things about her or whatever, she'll come out and respond to the facts and whatever. But she's not trying to be recognized for anything at all. And to me, that's like the true definition of an activist. I'm actually going to put a link to one of her latest, or maybe two of her latest videos in the description box. I've been subscribed to her for years. I'm not saying that I agree with everything that she says, because listen, we're all human and everyone has their own points of view on different points of life. But it doesn't mean that you can't find some common ground and some things that people share. And she's one of those people that I truly do see as the definition of an activist. And she's not out here, speaking about, well, I did this for this person and nobody recognized me, or I did this for this person and nobody recognized me. She's literally traveling to go see families of slain people that have dealt with the police in their towns and all kinds of stuff like that. Again, like I said, I don't know a ton about Amanda Seales, but to me, I feel like she is definitely motivated by her career driven, and that's fine. That is completely fine. But when it comes to being an activist, really, people have to be careful about that label. And I do believe that in the days and times that we're living in, a lot of people are recognizing people for things that they don't really deserve the title to have. I could tell that she was angry. I could tell that she was very, very emotional, very passionate, and pissed. Okay? All of those things. But again, the person who wrote this article, which again, if you look at it, it says opinion. It's an opinion. I don't even really know what else to say, to that. But I want to move on from Amanda and I want to go to Misahylton, because when I saw this, at first I said, you know what, I'm not going to talk about this, but I just want to talk about this just for a moment. So she's pissed at the fact that her son, who was at the home at the time, was dealt with during the raids, and what she feels was more force than what was necessary. So she made a statement, and she said the overzealous and overtly militarized force used against my sons Justin and Christian is deplorable. If these were the sons of a non-Black celebrity, they would not have been handled with the same aggression. The attempt to humiliate and terrorize these young innocent, quote, not quote, but caps, Black men is despicable. Enough is enough. Did Justin need several laser beams from firearms pointed at his chest? Did Christian need a gun pointed at the back of his head while he was handcuffed? How many times have we seen young unarmed Black men not make it out of these types of situations alive? I have retained attorney Jeffrey Leichtman to represent my son, and he is investigating the excessive use of force, which is unnecessary and certainly not required by this search warrant. We will fight for justice utilizing every imaginable resource. I'm not with the propaganda. Girl, listen, I get it. You don't want your sons to even get pulled over by the police if they're, driving. I get it. We all are protective of our children, and we fear for especially the lives of Black sons in this country, for sure. For sure. So I'm not trying to play that down. But the fact of the matter is, she should be going off on her baby daddy, who's not a baby anymore, but, that's the term that we use, or is used, I should say. Where was he? Why wasn't he there to have laser beams pointed at him? I feel that he got tipped off. He bailed out. He could have definitely made sure that his children were not there. Maybe, I'm not saying that it's fair for anyone to go through anything like that. But from, like I said before, from what I have read, from stories that I've seen before this situation even came up to be a possibility, let alone actually happening, I've seen so many stories over the years of raids that are done on people's homes, okay? And they've done a whole lot worse than this. A whole lot worse than this. And unfortunately, unless they raided the wrong residence, 9 times out of 10, or maybe 10 out of 10, nothing happens. You can file all the complaints and lawsuits that you want, but rarely does anything happen in those situations, because when they go in, they know what they're going in for, and they also have been tipped off to the fact that there may be weapons there, and you don't know what to expect. There was a guy, God, and I don't have the full story in front of me right now, but it was a guy who was, what was it? Let me see if I can get that info. Man, and I actually paused it for a moment trying to find that story. It was some months ago, but it's neither here nor there. But basically, the FBI, they were somewhere in the Midwest trying to serve a search warrant on someone. And it was one of those people that was like MAGA, but somewhat some type of position that the person had, right? I just can't remember exactly what they were. But it wasn't anyone that they thought that would enact violence on them. But I mean, they came in prepared, but unfortunately, the man started blazing his weapons and took out one of the FBI officers. They didn't know what they would encounter going there. And yeah, I get it. We know the stories about African-American men and young, men, and the situations that happen when it comes to the law. I know that. That is very true. And unfortunately, there have been a lot of situations where there has been excessive force used. And no one wants their child, I don't care if your child is 45 years old, to have weapons drawn on them and have laser beams pointed at their back or their chest or their head or their pinky toe. Like, nobody wants that for their children. But from what I have been reading and from what I've seen, that is what they do. And they're not going to make an exception just because he is the son of an alleged mogul. Because unfortunately, they're going in there on the allegations and possible the possibility that there is evidence that your child's father is a trafficker, a human sex trafficker. You know what I mean? So they didn't go in there bringing, just ringing the doorbell like it was a regular day. That's what they do. So I think for her, it's going to be a waste of time. But if they can try to milk the situation and maybe just try to get some eyeballs off of it for a little while, or maybe try to make this into some social justice situation and also try to get a check out of it, hey, I guess throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. But I feel she's reaching with this one. And we know that she did sort of like a post and delete before when her son was pulled over for, and I believe he was arrested as well, for driving under the influence. And then she came out and made a statement, and then she took it down, but she was pretty much calling out Diddy. And then she took it down. And then there was a post that he did, and she liked the post and commented on it or whatever. So a lot of people felt like the extra check cleared for her. So with that being said, I feel that she's reaching with this one. I'm not saying that she doesn't have the right to feel concerned or even just be angry and pissed at the fact that her son had to go through this, because nobody wants their children to go through this. You don't want to go through it at all yourself, but you definitely don't want to have your children experience anything like that, because it's scary just when you're driving down the road and you see blue lights flashing and you don't know if they're pulling you over or not. And then when they pass by, then you kind of let out a sigh of relief and your heartbeat dies down, or slows down, I should say. And if you do get pulled over, you don't like that either, because it's like, oh God, what did I do? So you don't even want to deal with getting pulled over, let alone having them come to your home. So to come in that manner, I'm quite sure. I'm not saying, oh, it's no big deal. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm just saying that I feel that she's reaching when she's trying to make this out into a social justice situation, that comparing if it were a Caucasian family versus hers, then would it be treated differently? And she feels that it would. Even if you feel that it would, it doesn't mean that it's right. And even if you feel that it would be different, it doesn't mean that you have a case. And that's the main reason why I wanted to talk about this. I'm not saying she's reaching with her feelings and her thoughts. I'm saying she's reaching when she's trying to make this into a situation where she's pursuing legal ramifications against homeland security. Seriously, I don't think she has a snowball's chance in hell of that happening for her. I don't care what attorney she has hired, because I don't even think Ben Crump with his check and cash chasing behind would even take that case. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for being here, liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.